That's that's excruciating.
Good evening to you, Mr. Dennis.
Yes, and to you, Sir Eric.
Happy New Year.
Yes, again.
Yes, we have in Spain the holiday where you give gifts around Christmas is the Epiphany on January 6th, which
I don't know. You wait that time.
Right. I mean, but if you
After Christmas.
if you think about it, it sort of makes sense because that's when gifts were given in the Bible. If you're going that far, which most of what we know of as the Nativity is sort of made up centuries hence, but it makes
as the story goes.
Right, as the story goes, taking into account the spider monkeys.
and the shitting peasant.
Right.
We mustn't forget the shitting peasant in all nativity scenes in my house from now on. In fact, the first year I'm going to make one that looks like me,
right,
and carve it and put it there, and it's there.
Yeah, it's like you've got. Some people do the elf on the shelf.
Make it a bobblehead. Let's make it a bobblehead, and we'll call it something new and make $1 million.
Yes.
Right. So not only does it a shitter, but when you hit its head, it bobbles as if saying, "Yup, yup, yup, I'm shitting." Yup, 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 yup.
Yeah, I mean, we already have the the elf on the shelf thing that is super popular among
that is
Americans,
like freaky stuff.
Which I hate it. I've never liked it.
Be careful not to look at too many of those because they get inside your head and they stay there.
Right.
And that's not a good thing to fill up your cranium. It's
but if you had a shitter on the sill or something, it doesn't rhyme. Not a lot rhymes with shitter. It's not like
shitter.
Yeah, but there's no furniture.
You're just such a kidder. I saw you were farting, but you were on the shitter.
Well, that's the appropriate place to fart if there is a place. Yeah.
As unusual as it may be, right?
Right.
To run to the bathroom to fart.
So anyway, but because my Spanish family has some Basque roots, in the Basque country, they have a Santa-like figure that is a coal miner that comes and brings kids gifts on Christmas Day. Or
lumps of coal.
But
how about that?
So we as parents in my family, we have to give gifts on both days. So we have like two Christmases, where two Christmas mornings where
are the presents more or less less serious, more serious, some toys, no toys, some clothes, no. Are there rules in terms of which presents are more typical for either of them, and is there a difference? I would think there would be.
Well, at least in our household,
nothing gaudy for the Epiphany.
In our household, you would be wrong. Basically, we buy a certain number of gifts and we divide it into two piles, and we give one pile on one day and another pile on the other day, keeping it more or less even.
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter.
Steven.
If it's going to be a toy that you're going to want to play with, you're better off giving that on the earlier date so that they have the rest of their holiday off of school, their winter school vacation, to play with the toy. Like if it's a bicycle or a remote control car or something that you want to be outdoors and playing with, because then 2 days after the Epiphany, they go back to school. So
that was just a couple days ago for you then.
Yes.
Just a couple days ago.
Yep. So
and where did you hold it?
Both days were at our house. The New Year's Eve was at my in-laws house. So
we were in bed by 12 o'clock.
For New Year's Eve, and this was invented like 50 years ago by the obvious people that it benefits. They have this tradition of at midnight you either listen on the radio or the TV or something to the clock tower at the center of Madrid, and with every chime of the bell, the 12 chimes at midnight, you have to eat one grape.
A grape?
A grape. So everyone gets ready with their little cup full of 12 grapes that all counted out. And when it goes dong, you pop one in your mouth and chew and swallow, and dong, you pop one in your mouth, chew and swallow. And better with smaller grapes, of course, but it's a
Well,
it was invented
especially
by
really hungry.
it was invented by the
By grape owners.
by the vineyards.
The Grape Growers Association.
Yes, exactly. They said, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if this was a thing?" And it caught on. And now
Like Valentine's Day.
Right.
Like Valentine's Day created by Hallmark Cards. Oh, they were just being so nice to everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a nice celebration.
So now
but anyway, that sounds like a blast.
it is. And then when it's done, you have your champagne and what's really funny.
Champagne.
What's really funny is that my parents really like this tradition. So what they do is they get 12 grapes, and then we do a FaceTime call with them at midnight here, which is 6 p.m. there, and they eat their grapes.
We'll join in.
And so they
Set it up.
It's just a fun, silly thing. They're
And they're both on the same day because of the time change?
yeah. I mean,
Or no?
well, no. I mean,
New Year's Eve there is New Year's 1 here.
no. It's the other way around.
No? Other way around. Well, whatever. Who's in charge of time anyway? Imagine that.
It's almost as if you and I never have to schedule anything together.
President Trump could actually use executive order to eliminate time zone changes and create a new time zone, and or eliminate all time zones and say that when he gets up at 3 a.m. after sleeping for 3.5 hours, if he does, because he's so worried about everything, and that's 6 a.m. And so
Trump o'clock.
it's time according to Trump. It's the Trump clock tower. This is what he's going to do next. It's not enough to bomb, to take out the top general in Iran without any respect for the co-equal branch of government here,
Right.
in the War Powers Act. So what the hell?
Yeah, there have been attempts in the past of fixing time zones and like trying to have a one world time. The Swatch organization, the Swatch company that makes the watches, they tried this one time in the 90s, I think it was, where they had as official Swatch time, and the idea would be that people, when you had a business meeting, a conference call from someone in Paris and someone in LA and someone in Chicago, you could just say, look, it's going to be at 300 Swatch time or whatever. I don't know how it was based, but and it was just a total failure because we really need.
Who wants to be bothered with that? We're bothered enough.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's like, no, I got things to do. I don't.
And also,
recalibrate everything.
Most people's lives are parochial enough that you're not communicating with someone outside of your time zone. I'm sort of unique in that I have cross time zone calls and meetings and things, but most people don't. And who cares? It's fine. And,
Right.
And of course, the whole reason that we started with time zone is because of the railroads. Before railroads, every town had their own time set, but then when we knew that it took 2 hours to get from point A to point B, and you got it to point B, and their clock was different, it was confusing. So the railroads really standardized time, but that's a separate conversation. So anyway, we have this double Christmas thing.
Concept. That's fun. So you just got finished with that. So you're it kills me here about
it kills me as an American to have New Year's pass and it still be fucking Christmas. Like when it's the new year, I want to just start with the new year and leave Christmas behind. But no, we have to go for another week.
Oh, no. And it's funny. I was just going to ask you that and premise the question with the fact that I want to keep everything up till the end of February.
Yeah. No, because
it's so much trouble. It's so much trouble to put it up, and it's really pretty. And I know that prior to that, I'd probably grow weary of it, and then we would do it earlier than that. But that's my attitude right now because it was a lot of work to find it in the containers and where they're stored up in our attic with all its crawl spaces. And
the other thing in favor of
and we decorate a lot just to finish with that.
Right. The other thing in favor of your point is the winter still sucks in January and February.
Right.
And it's still dark. You might as well leave up some lights and some joy a little bit longer until at least we can see a glimpse of spring, and then you can start taking that down.
Right.
But that's
and you know what, we have a very realistic artificial tree that is just enough to fool most anyone. I got it somehow secondhand, so it was really affordable, and it's an 8-foot tree, and it's gorgeous. And it's in 3 pieces.
Nice.
You store it in a big bag, right? Big canvas bag, hanging up in the basement.
mine's about
So in the lights,
4 feet.
And so you put it up, slam it up, right? It's 2.5 hours, 3 hours. You leave it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's a dying plant. It's just plastic.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah, so we're in a cold spell here, Kalamazoo. I've been walking in the woods frequently. We're 2 blocks from the entrance to a 5-acre area, conservation area that has wetlands and woods, wooded forest, and paths going all the way through it. And
Nice.
It's really quite nice. Wide paths. You could easily walk 3-4 people across the paths, well worn.
Mm-hmm.
But and nature smart. And there's a way to walk for me to walk to the Y.
Through the woods.
And I've got it through the woods. Through the woods. So I went through there the other day, and I had on my my canvas coat with the red lining on it, and I got hot, so I took it off and put it on and had it draped over my shoulders with the red side out, and I was mistaken
For Santa Claus
for
again?
the big bad wolf. I scared me as the wolf. Yes. So
Wait, you were mistaken as the wolf because you looked like you had
Yeah.
Little Red Riding Hood over your shoulder,
yes,
taking her to do
yes.
horrible things.
I'm conflating a couple of things here. On my story,
That story.
he isn't dressed like a granny. He's dressed like her after he eats her. This is post story. He's already eaten her.
So many of those stories.
Now he takes her cape and he wears the cape, and that's who they mistook me for. But it's not true. So I don't even know why we're talking about it. There were only 4 or 5 children. They were tragically affected in the 5-acre wilderness area here.
You only ate 4 or 5 children?
Well, at any rate, and so it's good to be here with you tonight at Happy Hour, which of course is at
happyhour.fm. The show notes for this episode, if we ever talk about anything worth linking to, will be at happyhour.fm/042.
And thus challenged to what apparently go in a new direction.
Do you know
a message far and near?
Do you know the nerd significance of the number 42?
George W. Bush was the president of the United States.
Nope. Try again.
That's true.
Yeah, well. But that's not... Nerds don't care about that.
Okay.
Have you heard of I guess it was originally a radio series, but there's a book called Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Have you heard of this? By Douglas Adams.
What is it again? Say it again.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. No?
Oh, yeah, the Guide to the Galaxy. The first word, I'm not sure, but yeah.
Hitchhiker is important.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, there's this... Throughout the whole book, there's this sort of mystery of this... Why some superpower has set up the Earth to be as it is, and it turns out that the Earth is a computer that is calculating the answer to the life, the universe, and everything. And at the end of the book, it's revealed that finally the computer has spit out a number that is the answer, and the number is 42. And so there's this whole sci-fi nerd culture that really respects that
Which
number.
means what? 42 what?
Precisely.
42 what?
That's the whole point, is that it's a scalar number like that is meaningless without a unit or anything, and it's just the whole point is that the meaning of life, the universe, and everything is what you make of it, because 42
It's all about
is meaningless.
42.
Yeah. So anyway,
At the end of the day.
episode 42. Some nerds out there will be
That's us.
excited. This is
us.
episode number 42. You're in it right now.
Well, I'll tell you, when you count the other 5 of these that I do the other 5 nights of the week, imagine what those numbers are.
So, for example, my uncle 20 years ago bought the domain name 42.com. And
Your uncle on whose side? Mom's?
No, dad's side. My father's little
Dad's
little
got
brother.
sibs?
Okay, you didn't know this? Yes, he does. He's got a older sister and 3 younger brothers. And
God.
one of them was a...
I guess I knew that. Yeah.
One of them was sort of computer savvy around the time that domain names were being bought up, and bought 42.com. And apparently he's had offers over the years to sell it for lots and lots of money, but he never has, and he's continuing to hope that the price will go up again. But anyway, that's because of that.
What's he do with
that
it?
book.
What's he do with the domain?
I don't know.
What's he do with the domain?
I
You
don't
got a
know.
link to it?
There's nothing there now.
Well, you might up the price by making it interesting to go to. Just a thought.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I don't know.
Word of mouth. Word of mouth.
At least it should
Something
be.
else besides just the name.
But
Jesus.
at some point he...
Sounds like a lazy motherfucker.
But there's apparently in New York City, 42nd Street is an important street.
One would gather along these lines.
It goes
I
by-
think I see.
goes by the
I think I
United.
see the pattern.
Right. No,
I
just
think I see
looking.
the pattern. It's the number. Wait, see if I'm right. It's the number 42. Am I right?
Exactly.
Wow.
No, but like just by chance, that's an important street. It goes by the.
And a lot of it happens in the state of Missouri. You know why? 42nd state to join the union.
Is that true? You're making that up.
Of course, I'm not making it up.
Yeah.
I know this shit.
You're gonna make me Google this.
Oh, here we go. Mr. Quick Fix.
As if I can
Mr. Pinocchio. Mr. Pinocchio.
Let's see. Na, 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 na. Oh, it's rankings. And I don't know. So,
Missouri. As they say in Missouri.
well,
There's some nice fishing out there, man. Real nice
actually,
fishing.
the 42nd state is Washington State. Missouri is way closer to the East Coast. That's
What is Missouri's number?
I
See
don't
how
know.
far off I was.
I don't know. Let's see. List of states order added.
Why don't you just
to
ask the
union.
question about Missouri? When did Missouri become a state? Would be the question, instead of having to review all the stats.
Well, when is going to give me a date,
Just ask.
but that's not what I want.
Well, of course it will.
I want a
Oh,
list.
I see. You want the rank order. I'm sorry. Of course you're right.
You're forgiven. Oh man, this is too funny. Your memory is close. It's not 42. It's 24. It's backwards.
I knew. Well, I'm dyslexic. Happens all the time. I knew there was
Would
a
you-
2. I knew there was a 4. I put them in the wrong order.
Would you like to guess the date that Missouri became a state? We'll just go with the
4th
year.
of July.
No, it was August 10th, but what's the year?
24th state?
Yeah.
1869.
Nope. Earlier.
Huh.
18,
1849.
1821.
Oh, that is early.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
there's
yeah. That's right.
See,
That's right, Buster.
we're educating the listeners.
James Cagney imitation. You're doing a James Cagney imitation now. Yeah.
This
That's
is
right. Yeah.
this is the United States History
tough guy.
Podcast. Welcome to our U.S. History Podcast. Let's see.
Right. Right. And if your life is so boring that this is interesting enough to you to still be listening, then God help you. I mean to tell you.
All right, Smarty Pants. All right, Smarty Pants.
Smarty Pants. Hey,
where's
before you go?
Where's
before you go?
What number is Michigan?
Michigan?
Mm-hmm.
Michigan? 33.
Nope. Right after Missouri, 26.
Oh my God.
Missouri, Arkansas, Michigan, and then Florida.
Huh.
For some reason, we thought Florida should be part of the country. Yeah. So
Yeah, still questionable decision.
there you go. So we can continue reading Wikipedia lists, or I don't know. We could talk about something else.
Well, we could. Well, I'm having a good time. I mean, this is after all happy hour. I have literally decided to move from drinking every day to every other day.
Well,
And I'm in my second week of that,
mm-hmm.
and I haven't messed it up yet. And the only reason that I'm saying that I'm doing it is because that's what happened when I tried to quit.
Okay. You had the willpower for 24 hours.
And I thought, hey man, don't beat up on yourself. You reduce it again. I mean,
Right.
So it may be soon that one weekend night and happy hour are the only 2 times a week I drink, which is my goal.
Well, I mean,
Just because it's probably.
You got to be in phase with our recording sessions because.
Well, that's true. That's true. And I can't imagine doing a happy hour without a drink in my hand. I would feel absolutely naked. Metaphorically, unlike you, who once again I see is actually naked on the screen.
Well,
From what I see, you are. This is uplifting until I look, and then I can't take my eyes off it. It's like this, push to look at this horrible image that you have, where you see it when you look at a victim or an accident, and you look away, and then you need to look at it again. Well, that's what this is like.
sounds a bit like watching the news lately. Like it horrifies you, but you can't look away. Yeah. So I have an interesting story. I was editing our previous episode in which you referenced your friend Tom playing the Peter Gunn theme. And exactly. And so I thought, it might be fun to edit in a little bit of the Peter Gunn theme just at a low level while you were discussing that. And I did that. I chose the Blues Brothers version, which is amazing. And then when I went to upload our video to YouTube, because we publish this on YouTube, for those of you that don't know that, YouTube said, hey, that's copyrighted material. We're not publishing that shit. So, yeah, because YouTube, 15 years ago, YouTube had a big problem of people just, recording stuff with their VCRs and uploading it to YouTube. And then Viacom was the big corporate master that came in there, and they were like, no, you can't be putting all these Daily Show episodes up on YouTube. Which is funny now, because now all the late night comedy shows understand that they need to put all of their bits up on YouTube to, like, that builds their audience. But back then, and so YouTube built, this was after Google bought them, was when they had this problem. And Google put a whole bunch of really smart minds into building these AI algorithms to detect like fingerprints of copyrighted material and to mark. Normally what happens is if you put up say you you're at a friend's birthday party and people are sort of dancing to some song, and you record a video and you put it on YouTube. Well, YouTube's going to say, "Oh, I know whose song that is. I know that Sony Records owns that song. So any ads that we display on this video, the revenue is going to go to Sony, not to you." Which
no shit.
Yeah, which is pretty clever.
Right. So,
but
what do you care, right? Because you're just having fun.
Right. Exactly. But
you're not trying to make money.
But some companies, like whoever owns the rights to that Blues Brothers track, will say, no, you can't have this video on there at all. The smart thing is to let anyone upload anything and then take all the revenue that it generates. But some people aren't that smart. And the craziest thing is that I had a video where it was someone in my Spanish family was having a birthday party, and we were singing "Happy Birthday" to blow out the candles in Spanish. Cumpleaños feliz, cumpleaños, and the fucking algorithm saw that video and said, "Hey, no, Time Warner used to. I don't think they do anymore. Used to own the rights to the Happy Birthday song."
Oh my God!
And I had a video service deny my publishing of that video because we were singing a traditional song that is sung all over the whole fucking world.
Birthday song, right?
The birthday,
right.
Yeah, and which is pretty wild. But anyway, so the kicker of the story was I was like, well, I guess I'll just re-edit it to take that out. And then I thought, well, hold on, let me go look at the guitar tablature for that song, and it's like 5 notes. And so I went and I recorded dun, 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 on my guitar and added that to the previous episode. So there's that. And
that's crazy, man.
And of course,
that's science.
The AIs,
wow,
because they don't.
Wow.
You've got permission to do covers of songs,
right?
But the tech can detect just the little minute things that make it clear that you actually took the song from the CD or from the MP3 right. or whatever, the official album version of the song.
Right.
So isn't that wild?
That is wild. That is wild. And making money. If it makes you money, invest in the technology.
Exactly.
End of the day. So what's the deal with Elon Musk making his car company the most valuable car company and the most in the history of the motor industry, not controlling for inflation?
This is news to me. I would think that I would be listening to the tech radar enough to have seen that. Really?
Tesla.
Yeah, I know the company. That's...
And apparently there's something viral about him doing a dance over it in some conference, which you might want to link to. I personally hadn't seen it, and I meant to look at it before we spoke, but I didn't. So if you find it, you can send it to me. We'll take a look. But it's Elon Musk does a strange dance at like some board meeting or something. He's like this weird dude to begin with. I don't know if you...
Yeah. So he's one of these...
like one of those eccentric rich guys from the Batman series.
Yeah, and like he's... I don't know. He just got lucky being an early investor in PayPal. Right? Like he's not... I don't know that he's... On the one hand, I don't think he's done all that much amazing things, but on the other hand, I think that of the people that are alive today, the name that will be remembered in 200 years might be Elon Musk, because I think he might be...
From where he is now and from where he will be.
Right. I think if he's...
So if
he's able to do the Mars stuff...
It's pretty astounding. It's pretty astounding. And anyway, you can link to it if you can find it, but that kind of blew me away a little bit. You know, I mean, this whole discussion in the U.S. here through the presidential campaigning on the Democratic-Republican side, all the impeachment stuff is the economic condition of the country and the Wall Street markets. And we've spoken about how I've run into guys that are very, very smart financial guys who just love Trump and are diehard members of the 38%, which ironically could by now be up to 42.
Wow, like this episode. The thing is, if your priority is how high can the stock market get, if that's your number one concern, then yes, Trump is the man for you. The stock market is doing great. My investments have done well during his term. But if you also have, like, I don't know, a conscience or care about people, then, or care about having a leader that you can actually look up to as a leader, then I don't know.
Right. Hey, can you find that cartoon where the Martians land on the Earth in somebody's backyard and they say to the guy who's working in his garden, can you take me to your leader? And the guy in the yard says,
this is not a good time.
It's not a really good time right now. That is a funny cartoon. Did we post that already?
I don't think so. But
I don't think we have.
I can find that. That will be at happyhour.fm/042. Although Dennis just read it out to you, so it's probably not worth going to. But anyway. What is worth going to, however, is patreon.com/happyhour. Because Dennis needs some more amber drinks. And
Smooth.
I think you will feel relieved to deposit some money there on a monthly basis.
Speaking of being relieved in deposits, you only have one bathroom for 17 of you.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's, speaking of deposits and securities or lack thereof, how does that work out?
Well,
I had some experience with that.
It's nice because the seat's always warm. Because somebody just got out. And we have this queuing system. There's like this there's an app basically where you schedule your bathroom times. And there's this intelligent queuing system, and
of course,
we have this
prior to the
we have this it's this Internet of Things connected toilet that determines the consistency of your deposit, and if it's loose, for example, then it's going to prioritize you in the queue next time you request. But if you
remarkable,
it's pretty.
I should have expected that. So while it was being developed, did you ever shit your pants?
Well,
be honest now.
Probably wasn't.
Even though it's gross.
Probably wasn't more than 6 times, if we're being honest. So, really,
I'm a little surprised by your answer. In my wildest dreams, I didn't think that you'd say that it happened more than once. You
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
As the lead character in Misery would say, you are a dirty bird.
Yes. Well,
as Annie from Misery would say, oh, you're such a dirty bird. You can flash on that with James Caan as the author that she finds in the car wreck and drags him out of the snow and puts him up in her bedroom, and she is his biggest fan for the character named Misery, which she strangely named her pig, who in an iconic scene grunts into James Caan's bedroom where he's convalescing, to his absolute amazement, and puts its paws up on its bed, and Kathy Bates' character Annie comes into the room and says, "This is Misery." Oh, and he's recuperating broken legs. Oh, you named your pig Misery? And then blah, blah, blah. And then as they're walking out of the room and the pig is following her, she's making the pig sound to James Caan. You have got to find this scene. It is.
I've seen the movie, but a long time ago. Yeah.
Particularly if you know Kathy Bates' just amazing portfolio of cinema.
Yep.
That to go back and to see this, I just flashed on it. I think yesterday sometime, because I did in fact catch up with Ray Donovan. I've spent miraculously 79 hours over the Christmas holiday, and now I am waiting for Sunday.
Wow.
So that I can see the next episode.
So that pig probably doesn't like to be lonely.
What's that?
Because misery loves company, right?
And that's kind of how she feels. And in the beginning of the movie, he gets a little nervous when she says, "Oh, I got mixed up about this or that and the other, and I'm not, and I hardly ever do that anymore. At least not since the trial when I got all mixed up in my testimony." And it's never mentioned again until late in the film. You need to get some flashes of this. And if you like James Caan, you can appreciate his characterization of what it's like to be in pain, physical pain, it's like the best I've ever seen. He absolutely nails physical pain. It's astounding. I think it's the best James Caan film ever. So you can check it out again. Opine. We'll come back to this.
I've seen it now. I've pulled up images of Kathy Bates and the pig, and
Big Red Pig.
Yeah, I don't know if I read that one. But it's got Stephen King all through it. Like that level of psych disturbance is very, very King.
And when she goes on a tear and starts screaming at him, and just goes wild, the look on his face. He is so expressive in the mixture of fear and wonderment and anxiety, and yet plotting, because he's a very intelligent character of an author. I'll remember. Well, you can Google it and remember his name. I can't right now.
The author of
the author of Misery.
The author Stephen King is what you're saying.
No. I know Sheldon. Sheldon is the author's name in the movie.
In the movie.
Paul Sheldon.
Yeah, Paul Sheldon.
In the movie, the author of the book is Paul Sheldon, who's the victim of Kathy Bates' character, Annie, who apparently killed her husband years before, which was the allusion to the trial, I suppose.
That's got to be for I don't know what kind of Victorian romance novels. That's what it says. For a novelist to write about a novelist victim is kind of an interesting sickness.
Well, Stephen King, he's stoned, so when he writes, there's no telling. I remember the novel, and you'll remember the name of it, or be able to look it up, where it begins in the woods, and all you know is that somebody who's in the woods, a hiker, kicks a stone or something, as he or she, I can't remember which, is walking, and looks and notices that it's not really a stone, it's metal, and when the hiker starts digging around it, it seems to become bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually it's a spaceship that's fucking 200 yards fucking long.
Huh.
Boom. Drop the mic, walk away.
That is going to probably be the Tommyknockers.
Yes.
Look at those skills.
The Tommyknockers.
Yeah.
The Tommyknockers. Hello. Hey, I saw last night, interestingly, the David Bowie documentary of his years that included and then concluded with Ziggy Stardust.
Yes.
And it's got to be part one or part two. But I had no idea of his early years when he did pantomime and was disastrous in his career. Disastrous. And he just kept plodding on and changing things and plodding on and became the superstar that he always wanted to be. It's astounding. Well, it is astounding.
Guess what? When you look into the actual stories of the most successful people, their early lives are just littered with those failures and attempts and the perseverance to go and try again and try again and try again and try again, that almost no one that became super well known just came out of the gate and was like that. That's very much a myth, because we like to think, the new artist of the year just appeared out of nowhere. No, the new artist of the year, you didn't hear about them because they were failing, and then they got the lucky break, or they got the right hook in their song, and that's why you know about them now.
His earliest albums were about songs from a child's perspective, and as the documentary, discusses, it was unheard of at its time for this pop, artist or this songwriter and singer to do song from a child's perspective, and it was fascinating, but not at all interesting to most of the public. But what the documentary does is it corresponds his emerging career with the fact that his first album, and this is astounding to me, his first album came out the same week of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. That's how he dates.
Right.
And when he went to a next level and did this little strange two guitarists and a woman singer, and it was called Ching-a-Ling, I think was the name of the tune that they did. Very odd, very soft. It was like when the release of the Led Zeppelin 3 came out,
right.
And it was like, and then he found Ziggy Stardust, and that's what he needed. And in the new persona, he wrote all of his amazing hits and albums, except for a couple, some of which are so iconic and just astounding to me that I just love them. I just love them. Anyway, it's a nice thing to take a look at and spend some time listening to.
That's the one on Netflix called Finding Fame, perhaps?
Well, yes, that is the name of it. It's also on HBO.
Maybe it's not on Netflix.
Maybe Showtime. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay.
What it all is, but I don't have Netflix, so it's I'm not looking at it on Netflix. And so
you don't have Netflix, so.
I looked at Ricky Gervais's.
I saw that
introduction. Did you see it?
I did.
To the Golden Globes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
He just speaks the truth. Like
he is. And I went on a Ricky Gervais binge, as I've done his 10 best roasts of all time.
Yeah.
You can't stop laughing. He is so funny. And the thing is, he thinks and knows, in fact, that he is funnier than shit. So when in this one talk show where the talk show host is showing Ricky Gervais's pictures of his wife, his significant other, and they're funny because it's a picture of the back of a woman and a couple of ducks walking away, and the caption of the picture is, Jane is looking for some friends.
Right. Yes.
It's about his wife. And then the next one is Jane, her back again, and a shadow behind her, and it says, Jane thought she found Jane thought she found a friend, but it was her shadow. And while these being described and shown, Ricky Gervais is almost fallen off the chair in laughter because he knows how funny it is. And the next one is a picture, an old-timey picture in the 1940s of a trash can with a fake baby in it, and the trash can says, "Put your ugly babies here," and the caption reads, "Jane at a young age."
Yes, he is so good. I've been a fan of his since forever. And I don't know if you've seen. I don't know if it's on. It might be on Netflix. Well, first of all, I loved in his Golden Globes, which he's been so ruthless in previous ones. I can't believe that they've invited him back so many times. His
introductions to Mel Gibson are just
he said some shit about everybody and about Oprah in the past years, and it was just wild. But I highly recommend his TV show that he's plugging called Afterlife. It's so good. It's about.
Yes, I've seen it. What character does he play?
He plays this grieving husband whose wife has died of cancer, and he can't, he just doesn't want to live anymore. But somehow they take the saddest possible scenario, and it's funny. Like it's
dark.
It's dark humor, but it's still really good. I very much enjoyed that series, and I'm looking forward to the one that's about to come out.
And you know what? It reminds me. Since I've run out of Ray, I'm looking for a new binge. I think I'll binge Ricky Gervais, what I can find, but I'm not sure. I see a lot of Ricky Gervais on HBO or Showtime.
No,
I wonder if that's the case.
He did a Ricky Gervais.
Because that's what I have. I don't have Netflix. I got Netflix upstairs, though. I could go up there.
Really? You'd have to walk all the way up the stairs. He's got some stand-up specials on Netflix, and he's just, I don't know.
But his TV series, the one about the small people.
Well, okay. He after The Office, he did one called Extras, which was funny because he got to use his clout to have cameos by super famous people. And if you haven't seen it, you have the one to see is Sir Patrick Stewart. Have you seen that episode?
Hey, he's got a new Star Trek movie coming out.
Yes, he does, called Picard, I believe. But it's the
yes, called Picard.
But there's a one scene that I will try and link in the show notes at happyhour.fm/042, where it's just Ricky who's an extra in this film, hanging out in the trailer of this huge movie star, and Patrick Stewart is telling him about this idea that he wants to have with this scene that he thinks should be in a movie, where he's there with a woman, and something happens, and all the woman's clothes fall off, and he's just there, and he's like, and I can see everything, and Ricky's just like super uncomfortable, like, why is this guy telling me this? But then they just repeat it over and over, and it's so good. And Patrick Stewart, obviously,
you get a link to that.
Yes, he's an amazing actor, and just nails the deadpan, like.
He is.
No, I really want to be in a movie scene where there's just this naked woman there, and it's just so. It's sort of like every 13-year-old boy's.
I've seen him do funny stuff, and he's just consummate. I mean, he's amazing.
Yeah,
and he's got everything that you need, the timing and whatnot. Yeah. Hey, did we talk about the movie where it was like the whodunit, and it was
the Knives Out?
Chris Evans
is the latest one.
Oh, what was it?
The latest one is called Knives Out. I haven't seen it, so no.
We did talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh no, we'll take a look and look at the homage to Game of Thrones. Which I
would not understand.
It's a remarkable. Why? Because you're not. Oh, that's right. You don't follow that shit.
No, I don't.
Huh? Is that true?
Yeah. Oh.
Have you seen Moonstruck yet?
Hold on. In the last episode, we figured out your next binge, which it needs to be Breaking Bad.
Oh, which is a HBO or Showtime.
I have no idea where it can be found.
I don't know.
I
think it's Netflix.
Netflix might have bought Netflix. Because I was looking at Better Call Saul, which is the sequel, and I think Netflix has that. So they might have bought AMC. AMC was the original creator of those. Right. So yeah, you might need to walk all the way upstairs to watch that. Or
it's not my it's my wife's room. It's her space. It's her TV. It's her space.
Can she give you her?
It's her sacred space.
Can she give you
her
login?
She's not here. I go up. I do it when she's not here and only with permission.
Could you?
So as not to.
With Netflix, you get a certain number of logins available. So different devices. Maybe you could.
Yes.
Find a way that way. And good Lord, Netflix is a dangerous pit of entertainment, because there's just so much stuff there. Like very much like Ricky said in his Golden Globes thing. Netflix just owns us now. Like their growth in the past year has just been incredible, outstanding. Right. So there's that. Oh,
and I'm yet to re-see The Irishman. By the way, I think I'm going to do that upstairs. That's probably what I ought to do with my time, is make and just see instantly that the TV up in the attic does not have that awful goddamn
soap opera effect,
calibration.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
which I don't think it does. Which I think that the newer, is it true that the newer versions of televisions may have it?
It's probably better,
more so than older versions.
I think. Well, when
newer versions have the soap opera effect, older versions less so.
Well, when we switched from projection to LCD, the brief stage with plasma didn't have it, but with LCD, they definitely have this problem where, because they can show so many frames per second, they do this sort of merging between them, which is what causes it. But that started 10 years ago when that problem really happened. So I suspect that the more modern your TV, it might be smarter about that than the older ones, but I could be wrong. So you'll have to report back on that.
Reporting back the news tonight.
No, you have to report back in the future,
hey, so,
Dennis. You have to do the research
Cuomo,
first.
Doing U.S. news. Chris Cuomo taking himself way too seriously lately. He was good when he started out. Now, seriously, he's got his own shows and shit. He's like way, way over the top. To me,
Chris Cuomo?
Just mentioning it.
CNN.
Chris Cuomo, the governor's son. Yeah. There's a show where he's interrogating people who are sociopaths, and it's so fucking ridiculous. He says to a sociopath, "Do you have violence tendencies?" And shockingly, the sociopath says, "No." And he says, "Do you ever want to humiliate and hurt women?" And shockingly, the sociopath says, "No." "Do you ever want to belittle anyone for violence?" And the guy who's in jail says, "No." And it goes on, and this is what they find of interest. This is how his fame has created. It's. Are you kidding me? You think this is?
Would you lie? Would you lie to a reporter?
Oh, I can't imagine. Chris, any bells going off here?
Mm-hmm.
He's like fucking whoring to get the fucking money. At least when he was a reporter in the news, his passion was appreciated. Now he's just making the money. I hope he doesn't come after me. He's a big dude, man. He works out and shit, I mean, hope I don't get him mad. And he's all this flap about, all this Italian heritage stuff, and Guido this and Guido that. It's like, oh, man, a lot of drama, Chris.
Okay. That's
a lot of drama.
Thankfully, I watch zero CNN.
Oh, well, that explains your absolute zero interest in anything I've just said. That's okay. That's what happens when two people talk. Sometimes one person says something that's of no interest. The other person politely sits there and listens to it. I didn't even look at you. You probably weren't rolling your eyes. You're probably being attentive. I appreciate it.
I wasn't supposed to be rolling my eyes?
My eyes were closed when I'm telling such a dynamic story, so I wasn't looking at the screen. Plus, your naked body is enough to repulse me.
I've got a brief little thing to tie back with both The Irishman and hopefully we can stop talking about Ray Donovan, but I've been watching it, and the one thing that I really wanted to tell you about Ray Donovan is how young John Voight looks and acts. Like, it's eerie.
He's playing a man of his own age.
Yeah, no, but he's 80 something. Right?
Oh, really? He's 80.
Yeah.
And he's playing a man who's in his 70s.
I get he's 81. Yeah. But he's
playing a man in his early 70s.
I guess, but he's in shape and he's jumping around and just he's not acting like an 80-year-old. He's just fit as a fiddle.
It's a performance of a lifetime, and I've been a fan of his. I've seen everything he's done. I think he's just an interesting character that he's chosen over his repertoire and his film career and his acting career. But this is the epitome. And now that I've seen 79 hours of Ray Donovan, and there isn't a moment when when Mickey Donovan is on the screen that you could even consider tearing your eyes off the screen.
Right.
Every instant, he is riveting. He is riveting. They just, this isn't a spoiler per se, but, and if it is, you can edit it out if you'd like, but later on in the episodes, they show him in his early life. And it's an amazing...
With another actor.
Yeah, okay. Right, not de-imaging or any of that bullshit. Another actor who gets his voice down so extraordinarily well, and the cadence of his voice and his intonation, particularly in the opening scenes, that his looks, which are a bit less cohesive, in that Mickey Donovan, John Voight, has what is called in some circles a pancake face. When you look at a side view of him, you will see that from his forehead to his nose to his chin to his mouth, it's relatively flat. Mm-hmm. This guy had a schnoz. Even though they drive. But it didn't matter because he was perfect, and it's like, who the fuck cares? Maybe Mickey Donovan's nose was broken purposely and appropriately so many times that they finally removed it, turned it into a fucking button nose like what he had. But yeah.
But I recall seeing there's a Star Wars movie called Solo, that is supposedly Han Solo as a young.
I've never seen it
as a young guy.
But I've heard of it.
And the actor, the actor did such an amazing job. He was.
Isn't it the actor who was in Elton John?
No, the actor in Solo, he was Harrison Ford. He inhabited that.
He channeled him.
That role so well. The actor was Aiden Enreich, who we don't know anything about, but anyway.
No.
But when you were talking about an actor, becoming this other person at a younger age, that reminded me of that. It was just so clever.
So, hey, man, this has been an amazing hour and 10 minutes. You can edit out a good deal of anything that wasn't interesting, but the hour's closing.
Yeah, the final episode will be like 12 minutes, I think. Just the good stuff. just the stuff where I was talking and the part where I was interesting.
Include that kind of. So I was on Delta Airlines waiting line today, and they said, "Hello, you've reached Delta. There are other customers being served. Please hold.
Mm-hmm.
It will be approximately 4 minutes until your call is reached." And then 19 minutes later, 19. And they fixed it. Good service. And I told him that. I said, your estimating software said 4 minutes, and it was actually 19. And he said, and I quote, "Well, that's not very that's not very accurate." And I said, no, it's not what you'd call accurate.
No,
he said, "Oh."
As someone that uses computers and writes computer software for a living, I can tell you the best way to infuriate a user is to have one of those progress bars that doesn't move linearly to estimate the time something's going to take, and then either have it jump around or have the time estimate get bigger. Like, if you're going to estimate time, you really have to be accurate, or under promise and over deliver. Say it's going to be, it might be 25 minutes, and then in only 19 minutes they were able to talk to you. Then you would leave with a good taste in your mouth.
Right there. Right there. That is the title of this episode.
Which is what we do.
You just said it.
At happyhour.fm.
You just said it.
Under promise.
Just said it. The title of this episode.
Over deliver.
That's it. I gotta go, bro. It's been vivid.
I will see you very shortly, my brother.
My main man.
Eric out. Okay, I think that does it for episode 42. I hope you learned the answer to life, the universe, and everything. You can support us at patreon.com/happyhour, and you can find the show notes for this episode at happyhour.fm/042. If you'd like to prepare some grapes, you can wait until the music is over, and then you can eat some grapes, just like the Spanish do. See you next week. dung, you pop in your mouth and chew and swallow, and dung, you pop in your mouth and chew and swallow, and dung, you pop in your mouth and chew and swallow, and dung, you pop in your mouth and chew and swallow, and dung, you pop in your mouth and chew and swallow, and dung, you pop in your mouth and chew and swallow, and dung, you pop in your mouth and chew and swallow, and dung, you pop in your mouth and chew and swallow, and dung, you pop in your mouth and chew and swallow, and dung, you pop in your mouth and chew and swallow, and dung, you pop in your mouth and chew and swallow, and dung, you pop in your mouth and chew and swallow.